welcome to the Daft Souls podcast. Today I'm joined by Mr. Gavin Murphy.
Hello.
And Mr. Joseph Joe Screbbles.
Watcha.
Are you actually called Joseph, or did I just
I
make
am
that
called
up?
Joseph. That is a name, as it turns out.
He's in my phone as Screbble-Noughts.
That was like a first week invention, wasn't it?
I think
when I joined.
I'd like to think that I did invent it, but I think it was actually Chris Scullion who invented it.
Fuck it then. Delete it.
But we were talking about this the other day because like I said to him, like, I have to remember that you're in my phone, Matt, as Laser Loser
Oh,
Lees.
Mr. Laser Loser Lees.
Because it was a night when me and Steve Hogsey were on our way to go watch the opening of the Shard laser show, and you didn't want to come.
But in the end, I did come.
You did come.
And despite
it
that,
was shite.
you all... Because I didn't want to go because I thought it'd be shite. And then you all rallied against me so hard that you all changed my name in your phones to Laser Loser Lees. And despite the fact that I did actually, in the end, crack and come along.
Still Laser Loser Lees.
I'm still that. And I wasn't. I was right. Anyway, video games.
There's been times when like I've had to text you about like real life stuff. And, like, texting someone called Laser Loser Lees, like, you know, important like life stuff. Don't know, it sort of takes the edge off it.
Does a bit. I suppose it makes you smile.
Everybody else helps, doesn't it?
So it's been actually a really good couple of weeks for games at the moment. I won't talk about it much, but I've still been playing tons of Destiny to the point that I'm so deep down that rabbit hole that it's just fucking silly. But also there's been some really lovely surprises.
Yeah.
Obviously Alien Isolation has received mixed opinions, but Shadows of Mordor might be a good place to start.
Yes,
that's
it is.
a bit of a fucking surprise, right?
No, because I've been banging on about it for 2 months. It really irritates me that everyone's suddenly on this bandwagon with me. I was riding it. It was wonderful.
What were you really into at the preview stage?
I was very happy with
Yeah,
Shadows
you went
of
mad
Mordor.
about it, and this is like I haven't played it, but when you went off to the preview event and came out, you were like, it's one of those things where it really reminded me of when you played Dragon's Dogma, when you were like,
Yes.
I think this is really good.
Yeah. That's the thing. And it ended up being that game as well, where you have so many reservations about it and you still come out positive.
Yeah.
To the point where I wrote a review and then got pilloried for being really harsh to it, when actually I was going, I love this game. It's just shit in so many ways.
Yeah, I was pretty much the same with Dragon's Dogma. I remember.
Exactly, yeah.
The reaction to that was actually all right, but I was a bit worried when I'd bigged up this game so much, and then when it came out, I reviewed it, and I was like, 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that's it.
I was worried everyone would go, but you said it was amazing. It's like, it is.
Yeah.
But it's also quite shit.
It's one of those, it's the game I always compare, the kind of beautiful art 8 out of 10s like Binary Domain, where it's like, here's a beautiful game and there's loads that makes no sense at all and you should hate it.
Binary Domain made me really sad because I loved it when I previewed it, and I just got in contact with Sega and said, please let me do for Binary Domain what I did for Dragon's Dogma. Like, just let me make some early videos, let me explain to people why this game is actually really good. But it just didn't happen. They wouldn't give me the access. I could have maybe made it better.
You could have told them to not have that box art.
I did actually specifically tell them. I did say, also, is there anything you can do to change that box art?
Could you just put Kane the French robot on the front of this game? Because that would make it different.
It was just a weird piece of art that's funny, but my God, no.
It's so poor.
Anyway,
Shadows of Mordor.
Tell us about that. I mean, I know about it, but I'm not sure how much Gav knows.
I don't know much about it other than what Joe said about it, and I haven't played it.
It's like one of the most derivative post-Assassin's Creed Arkham games of all time, but with this one system called the Nemesis system, which is essentially a sort of choose-your-own-adventure storytelling tool built into the fabric of every single fight you have in that game.
Right.
So every single NPC in that game has a procedurally generated face, and as soon as they kill you, they're given a name, a title, a personality, and stats.
Right.
So if essentially death is the biggest treat you get in that game because you get a new character, and they can become the final boss of the game. That's character.
Awesome.
It's fucking incredible. It's really, really weird.
It's amazing, but it's great the fact that you're kind of like... What I find really odd about this game, and I probably will end up making a video about it before I've even come close to finishing it, because it just doesn't fucking seem to matter. Like, I already kind of know what the gist of it is. But it's like, you know, when there was that cliche when camera phones were a new thing, and in comedy shows, you had that really cliche joke of people going, hey, look, I've got a camera phone, and somebody had glued a camera they taped a camera to a phone.
Yeah.
And it was just the joke that appeared everywhere.
It was like the Megatron in Peep Show, where it was 5 different remotes taped to each other instead of a universal remote.
The weirdest thing about Shadows of Mordor is it feels like a really modern game, like a very next-gen game, in the fact that really, at its heart, it's got this procedurally generated, interesting, open world.
That sounds awesome, yeah.
Do your own shit. But then it taped to it in a really crudely way is such a, like, last-gen... Like, even prior...
Yeah.
It's like PS2 era almost in terms of
it's
design.
like one of the worst licensed game stories I've ever played. It's so shit.
It's like it starts off and it's like, oh yeah, your wife. You get basically cutscenes to show you that your wife and child are dead, and you've got to get your revenge. And then you get cursed by a spirit, and it's blatantly going to be a bad thing because you don't get cursed by spirits without it being a bad thing. So it has this really like PS2 era shitty tie-in story.
That is God of War, isn't it? Like, that's the exact same thing.
God of War didn't let you.
game.
God of War didn't let you stealth kiss your wife though, which is the best tutorial ever.
Yeah, it teaches you how to stealth kill by sneaking up on your wife and giving her a kiss.
Yeah, it's literally hold R2, press square. That's it. That's literally the tutorial.
I want to play this game.
Which is good, but then it's like, it kind of annoys me because it does that annoying gating thing of being like, as soon as you're out there in the world, it's like, you realise there's loads of combat moves and loads of things you can do, but you're just like, I don't give a fuck about it, I just want to play.
Yeah.
Because it's this amazing sandpit. But then you get to points where it's like, well, you can't do any more until you've done more of the story.
Exactly.
And it's like, fuck off.
And the worst part of it is it gates the best abilities behind story as well. So like, there's the ability to brand guys who then follow your commands, and you can send them off to like cause riots or like fuck up other members
like
of
Brotherhood. In a way.
No, it's basically like you can indoctrinate a commander, and I've seen that on the list of the skills. But it has this thing throughout
Have you
the
not
campaign.
got there yet?
No.
Fuck, that is the game.
I know,
it's
but
amazing.
the thing was, because you told me, like, obviously you gave me really good advice, but it was in a tweet, so it wasn't that specific. You said, just follow the story until you get all the abilities.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to do that, but it's so easy to get distracted.
Absolutely,
that I've been struggling to just focus and do it. Also, for me and for people listening at home, do you have to do all the story missions, or is there one particular angle that you should just fixate on in order to get the stuff you need?
So there's always 2 branches of story missions, and they're for the 2 different sides of the ability tree. So you've got the kind of Wraith abilities and then the Ranger abilities.
Right.
You have to do both to
get to
progress to. There's like a halfway point. There's sort of like, there's literally half time in the story where it's like, chill out for a second, big bit of story, new kind of bit of play. So you've got to do both to get through that first half.
Right.
And then the second half, just do the Wraith stuff. You will know when you've hit the second half.
No, that's valuable. That's good to know. Because the thing is, I love it so far, but it's kind of teased that the element of the indoctrination or whatever it's called, branding.
Yeah.
In the fact that there's this orc who's like, oh, I'll help you.
Yeah.
And it's like, basically, it's all story driven. You don't have any control over it.
But you're a naughty dude all the way through it, are you?
Well, no, you're like this. You're a shit character. Your character doesn't matter at all. Basically, it's
You're
like
2 characters
revenge.
in one, and they're both terrible.
I'm gonna quote Chris Thurston on his tweet about it when he said it's basically two posh dudes slumming it around the wilderness. It's basically Withnail and I with swords. Which it is. But basically, this orc is like, I'll be on your side, and it means you have this system whereby he's kind of like under your control.
Yeah.
And so you help him to kill like orcs that are more high ranking than him so he can take the position. So it basically means you can have like inside commanders. So it's not like in Assassin's Creed where you just press a button and suddenly your buddies turn up and help you kill someone.
Okay.
It's like these orcs actually have influence and armies, and they're just off doing their own thing.
Right, okay.
And you're kind of, it's basically Machiavellian politics.
Well, this is the thing. So there's a screen called Sauron's Army, and you go on, and it's essentially like the world's worst police lineup. It's like 4 different layers of the army. So at the top you've got chiefs, and then it's like 3 different levels of captains under that,
Right.
and they get promoted through this. So the first an NPC who kills you will always join the bottom rank, and then throughout the game can get pushed up the ranks until you make them the chief.
Oh, sweet.
Which is fucking amazing because you've essentially got characters who either
really interesting,
who
like,
either hate you, like they can literally get a stat where they hate you, and as soon as they see you, they become twice as strong, right? So, or they can be afraid of you. As soon as you turn up, they run away.
Yeah,
but they can be afraid of fire. They can hate like these big like cat creatures called caragors.
So weird.
You have to interrogate.
Awesome,
you have to interrogate like either like lesser like chiefs or lesser like captains or like worms who basically like people who know things. You interrogate people to find out the weaknesses of these guys, and then it's like you basically specifically try and put them in situations where you can fight them up. And it's amazing sometimes where it's like you get this guy who looks incredibly tough and he's really high level and he's really dangerous, but then it's like weaknesses is like can be immediately killed by stealth attacks.
Yeah,
and so it means like you just literally just sneak up behind him and just stab him, and then just there's a huge army of orcs then coming after you. And you just get the fuck out of there.
That's the thing. You get these amazing moments where it's like fucking, I don't know, Skog the Destroyer, and he's terrified of flies. So you can drop a hive of flies on him and he'll run away and you can kill him immediately or like take over him. Or you can get like the weakest guy in the world, and then it turns out that like the only thing that could possibly damage him beyond like an incredibly long like 15-minute combat section is exploding him. Like it literally just says can be damaged by explosions. And it just becomes this wonderful thing where you're kind of interrogating one guy to find out about this guy because you want him to become the leader of this part of the world. And they
can have like you can have a chieftain who has like minions, and so you're like, well, do I just go and kill him straight away, or do you go and assassinate his minions first, so that when you fight him they won't be there, otherwise you have to take on all three of them or whatever.
You either have to take over all his bodyguards, or kill them all, and then he's alone. So when you can get these cutscenes where he's like doing a big speech, but he's got no bodyguards, and you just turn up and just kill him immediately. Or you can get it where one of your guys is sort of a secret agent standing behind him, and you go, all right, so at the next meeting, like, fuck him over. So he's standing, he's like, we're gonna kill the ranger, and then the guy behind him just boots him off his platform and starts fighting him, and you run into the middle and just assassinate him and run off.
It's basically like if you imagine what Assassin's Creed should be like, it's that, but with orcs.
Because that's one of the things that I think I read where people were just like, someone said like it's the shittest Assassin's Creed game, but really, really good.
Oh no, it's the best. I think. I mean, the thing is, I mean, I love the Assassin's Creed games. Don't get me wrong, but Assassin's Creed games could have gone in multiple directions. And the direction they went into was real estate, and I kind of like that. I kind of like being an estate agent, just going around buying all the houses in Rome.
Like I generally love Brotherhood. I think like, all that was awesome. Yeah.
But it's not really a game about assassination anymore.
100%.
It's about being an estate agent.
Yeah.
But with this, it is this thing of being like, I need to kill him. How am I going to do it? Well, I need to find out what his weaknesses are. His chieftains look dangerous.
Like take the best Assassin's Creed game, isn't it?
But like, you just work out how you're going to do it yourself.
Yeah.
But mechanically, you have to talk about the fact that it is weak. Like
it is a bit ropey.
It's got the weird Assassin's Creed 1 thing where when you're running, you always feel like you're taking one step too many. Like you stop holding the button and he takes one step and like jumps off the wrong thing, or like turns too late, so you get hit by something. So there's this sort of there's a shakiness to the actual fabric of the game.
The hand-to-hand combat is pretty strong though. It's
Batman.
But I must say, after playing tons of Destiny, the aiming the bow is like a bit crap, and it's like, especially I'm really used to that kind of slick aiming thing. It's a bit wonky. But
I talked to Timur, who is like the world's biggest Batman fan. Timur, who's been on this podcast.
Yeah.
Cool. So I don't need to introduce him. He's brilliant. He talks about how he'd heard a rumor, and so this is all on him. This is all alleged. I'm not bringing out any secrets. There was a rumor that Warner Brothers, who also own the Batman games, had started this project with Monolith as a Batman game, which all fits because it's all about intimidating people with fear. Originally, it was going to be the Joker's army, and so you had his various gang levels, and you were going to be in Arkham City or wherever, slowly indoctrinating the crime syndicate.
That sounds fucking
of the Joker
awesome.
With Batman and I guess like Scarecrow gas, freaking them out to become your minions. And then they wanted this Middle-earth franchise, which that is confirmed. I've done an interview with the guy and he was like, they wanted a Middle-earth franchise. They wanted it to be between The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. That's just a thing they're talking about.
Because that's the thing that's going to hold me back. I've got absolutely nothing.
Don't worry about it.
I hate Lord of the Rings.
Because what's awesome about it, actually, I think Kristen Donlan wrote something for Eurogamer today, which was spot on, and it basically being like, they know that Lord of the Rings is boring. Like all the human and elf stuff is po-faced as fuck.
That shit.
It's boring.
Even though it's even based on Welsh stuff as well. Like, I should love it, but I hate it.
But the orc stuff is really funny. Like the way they talk to each other.
Ratbag, that story character you're talking about, is a genuinely funny character.
Yeah, some of the writing is brilliant. Like, there's one point where it's like where Ratbag, who's this crap orc who you're helping, and it's like he's like a comedy foil. At one point, he's like, "Come on, you got to take this seriously." He's like, "Imagine their heads being crushed. You got to visualize your aims." Starts talking like he's a business guru or something.
That's awesome.
And it's just a few times the script has made me laugh, but it's just so weird going through between this genuinely very modern, interesting system, and then having to like go and pick up a herb to heal your health.
That's it. Yeah. So when I finished the game, me and my brother were playing at the same time on the same PS4, and he finished it like a day after I did, and he was like, "That was really cool. I love that game, but I don't think I'll ever go back to it." And I was sitting there going, "That's quite astute. I don't think I ever will because I've had my story with my orcs." The next day, I was sitting there going, "What am I going to play?" I turned it on, and it's essentially become like the world's weirdest dating sim. Like I turned it on. And there was an entire army of orcs blacked out, and you have to go and either meet the orcs or interrogate people to find out who they were.
Yeah.
And all I wanted to do was fill out this entire screen so I knew everyone there, and I could like choose my favourite. And it was literally, I'm speed dating orcs. I'm just sitting there going like, you know what, like Skarnaz, he's got a cool helmet. Like, that's literally my whole reason for playing that game. Is
Skarnaz would make a good breakfast for me.
Exactly, that guy. He knows what's up. He's got a fiery head. He'd love it. It's really strange. Like I'm just the story is so peripheral. And yet, unfortunately, so integral. Like this is how I finished writing about it. Was essentially, it feels like they've gimped the story just to have this whole narrative aspect.
Well, this is what I mean
create.
when I say like the kind of last gen design decision is something that, to be honest, it felt like with the kind of 360 and PS3 generation, we started to phase out this whole thing of you have to play the story for a certain amount of time to unlock all the stuff you can do, and most games started to like just put that in a tutorial and then let you go wild.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's like you have to play for like 10 hours before you can unlock
one of the most key mechanics.
It's like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? I mean, it's still really good fun, and I really recommend it. But it's just frustrating because it could have been an incable game.
Well, I think there's quite a lot of games like that. I think, like even at the end of like, we'll say last gen, it's not. It's like the other day, but it's like with The Last of Us, I felt the exact same way with that. Like I was like, this game is fucking brilliant. Then it was just like, oh, now I've got to craft a med kit. Have I
put some
planks
down?
Like, I couldn't be arsed with that.
I didn't mind the crafting in that because it was really simple, and it forced you to choose between weapons. Or I like the mechanic in that, but
it feels like you're not in that world at that point.
I know.
Like, there is that suddenly game UI comes up. And you're like, no, I've been spending time with two people for a while.
No, I can't disagree.
And
with
just
that.
like, oh, do you want to upgrade you? No, I don't want to upgrade anything. Like I just found it.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I need that to just further the story. That's what I need. I don't need to go like, oh, look at this shotgun I've done. It's
unless I see Joel literally duct taping a fucking iron sight to it. I don't want to know. Like, I just want to spend time with that dude.
Yeah.
My last thing about Shadows of Mordor. This is my idea for a sequel, right? Okay.
Shadows of Batman.
Yes.
Lord of the Rings have entered Gotham City.
That would be cool. So you are some sort of amoral entity in the middle of an elf army, a dwarf army, a human army, and an orc army. And you get to interact with all four of those. And do you remember Saints Row 2, where if you did one mission for one faction,
it would
pissed off all the other factions? In this one,
you're just Vice City as well.
Yeah. So in this one, you're just sitting in the middle, just Machiavellian a war between four different factions in a place. There are four armies, and you get to know all the people in those armies, and you just set them on each other and start a gigantic war. That's all I want. That is the game to me. It's like causing
I really feel
fuck-ups.
like they've stumbled on something, and I kind of feel like just because they've so openly ripped off Assassin's Creed in so many ways, I wonder if Ubisoft would just be like, hang on a minute, we can basically just nick this, can't we? Because they nicked it off us. And I'm quite
Two wrongs make a right. So
precisely. I mean, an eye for an eye. That's what I believe.
Watch Dogs 2, US versus Iraq. Let's go.
But I would finally say, even just the really nice subtle network integration, the fact that it's like, I had a thing being like, hey, this guy around the corner, he killed your friend.
Yeah.
And it basically puts one of the orcs from one of your mates' games who's killed them once.
that's fantastic.
Into your game.
That's awesome.
So
yeah.
this orc isn't a part of your power
Exactly,
structure.
he's never there.
He's not there. He's only here for this. But then what happened to me is then I got killed by that orc.
Yeah.
And then whenever you get killed by an orc, sometimes they just take a slot if there's a slot free because you've killed someone. But sometimes they don't have to. It does a
Fight
little thing
another guy.
where it goes,
Yeah.
he's going to fight this guy, and then it's like whichever one wins is the new one in that slot. And so because you can have like badass orcs from other people's games coming in, killing you, and then taking over a slot and becoming. It's just really cool.
Well, that's exactly what, I know it's not next gen, but that's exactly what the thing that I love most about Zombie U was. Like,
Yes.
when I first played the Wii U, the first thing I ever played was Zombie U, and like, listening to the people talk about it, like, if you've got a Wii U or you haven't, like, go get it for Zombie U.
It's
There's
about
so many.
£4 now.
Yeah.
Ubisoft do
The
not
Wii U
give
is
a
about
shit
£4 now. Zombie U, they probably give it to you like in the street. But like, there's a bit in now where like, so if everyone on my network gets killed in a certain place, like Joe and his backpack would show up in my game. So it'd be like, oh, Joe is around here. So you could like, but he's a zombie now.
Yeah.
But he's also a super zombie now. Like he's really, really powerful because you were like level 10 or something like that.
I was,
so it'd be
that's
like,
true.
So it'd be like,
not gonna lie.
so it's literally like, you need to get here, but Joe, the super zombie, is over there. This is what's in his backpack. Like, he's going to have good shit on him. You can either risk your character, because it's it is permadeath. So it's like, you can either risk your character, who is cool, to go get more awesome shit, or you can carry on the thing. And like, you're just like, no, I need to go over there.
I'm going to kill Joe.
And be like, oh, there's Joe over there. And like, you just run into your guys in the world sort of thing. And you're just like, I don't know, it elongated that game so much for me because it was just like, oh, so-and-so is over there. Well, yeah, I'm going to go over there and try and sort of avenge his death by killing his zombie sort of thing.
Because my guy looked exactly like Adrian Brody as well, which was weird. So that was good.
Yeah, no, that's interesting.
That was a good game.
It's a really, really good game as well. And as you said, you probably get it for about 80 pence.
Yeah, it's nothing.
You
They
can get
probably
it for
have it in Shadwell Station where it's set. They built up like tube barriers out of it.
Yeah, you swap them a feast for it. That's where you just you're like, can I have your game? Yeah, give us a feast.
Eve Gilmore just like begging, handing out zombie.
So hungry. We put so much into this, and no one fucking
Nintendo
bought it.
fucked us over.
Yeah, good.
Speaking of,
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Obviously, Nintendo Magazine is now coming to an end. Obviously, I
Yeah.
never worked on ONM myself. I did work on OXM.
you did one very good review of that Diablo clone on it.
I did.
I remember.
I
Did
you
did a
Bravely
review.
Default?
Heroes
No,
of Might.
it was...
Oh,
Was it
that's
Heroes
right,
of
yeah,
Might?
yeah. Heroes of
Heroes of
Ruin.
something?
Heroes of Ruin.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was all right. It was, again,
It
quite
is good.
ropey, but it had some fun ideas in it.
Yeah.
That was pre-2013
I also
3DS.
reviewed Dragon Quest VI, I believe.
Did you?
Realms of Reverie, and that was a DS game, which was a port of the SNES version, and I'd never played it before. And I tell you what, I really enjoyed it.
That was a 12-page review.
It was like one of those.
12-page cover feature.
It's one of those reviews that you only do for the love of playing a game that you
Yeah.
think you might like.
Yeah.
Because it was like a page, and the game took me about 30 hours to finish. So it's like,
Well, I've reviewed the last 3 Etrian Odyssey games, so I know that feeling.
fucking hell, man.
Jesus Christ.
Twins love that. And
Yeah, they're
actually,
incredible.
On his recommendation, I bought that, and I found it
Yeah.
a bit too heavy on the grind for me.
Which one?
Yeah.
4 or?
Yes.
Yeah, 4 was intense. Millennium Girl, the next one,
Don't buy
which
any of
sounds
these.
like a Will Smith song.
Don't buy a shitty game.
The Will Smith song, Millennium Girl, is a great Etrian Odyssey game. So
I think I picked the wrong one because there was 2. There was Millennium Girl and 4. I went for 4. I quite liked it, but it just got to a point where I was like, this is too hard. Why is
Yeah.
this so hard? And
the,
it's like,
the airship where the dragon's flying after you, what an arsehole.
yeah, there's just some nasty, nasty stuff in that game.
Unpleasant game.
But it is sad. Like, yeah, O&M closing is quite a sort of sad thing, I think. Like,
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys both used to work for
That's where I
ONM.
started my career.
me too.
Good
it was
place.
like the only thing that I could actually I know for a fact that my mum bought every single issue of ONM. And I barely worked on it, in fairness. I
You
did all
had a
the
double
video
page
stuff.
spread every month.
Every single month. They were,
Until I killed it. When we redesigned, it's like, fuck, grabs
But
page.
not even that, like they were like my face was in the front of it every time. That was the only thing like my mum understood, was just like, oh, I make videos for YouTube. Do you don't know what any of what you just said is? It's like my face is in a magazine you can buy in Sainsbury's. Gav's a success.
I always used to be kind of saddened by the fact that when I worked for OXM, it came in one of those cardboard folders, so I couldn't even say to people, if you look inside of it, you can see my face.
O&M was inside like a big thing, and then they stopped that, so you could literally flick it open and show people, which I know my mum did, and I know I definitely did. There was a period, it wasn't dark, it was fucking incredible, but there was like a 9-month period where I split up with a girl that I've been going out with for 9 months before I started going out with.
You mean 9 years?
9 years, shit, fuck that.
Because that's like 9 months is really dark. It's not that long,
That
was a dark period.
I remember at one point being like queuing up to get booze, and in a Tesco's in Brixton, and it's Sainsbury's in Brixton, and literally like going, like standing in a queue, and I was just like seeing an O&M there that you could open. We didn't have the belly band. And I was like, "Do you want to do something cool?" She was like, "Yeah." That girl, I met once, and I was just like, "Do you want to see something cool?" She's like, "Yeah." Took it off. I was like, "This is my face."
You know what's weird?
She was like, "Oh my fucking god, your face is in a magazine." And I was like, "Yeah." She what's the magazine? It's really cool. It's loaded. Would you think loaded is cool? Yeah, it's loaded. It's the loaded of video games.
It's front. It's pretty intense. It's weird. I had almost exactly the same experience. I broke up with a girl after 8 years, and I was in a supermarket, and a guy came up and went, "Joe Scrabbles from Official Nintendo Magazine." I was like, "Yes, fuck the world. I'm still here."
I never once got recognised from XM. No,
That's the
even though I was on the
only times.
dashboard. That was bizarre, because it's like those videos got watched by a lot of people.
You sound angry about this, man.
It was like, because I just wonder if somebody was diddling the numbers, because apparently the videos are getting watched by like 250,000 people.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
remember
well, if
that.
that's true, why didn't anyone? Because I mean,
They were all in Mauritius.
I don't know, but since then it is weird how people occasionally just put the thing 2 and 2 together, and just people just now occasionally go, "Holy fuck, you were that guy in OXM," like, and they've just worked it out.
Maybe one day that'll happen to me.
You were that prick with the stupid haircut with his strong opinions. I hate you.
I feel a bit bad for like I think like I mean I don't want to slag off like former employees and stuff like that, but I don't think there's.
That's all I ever want to do.
I don't think there's a
They're
place.
still my current employers, so let's chill out.
there's no. Actually, it's not even slagging them off, but it's like there is literally nowhere that caters for Nintendo audience. Like I remember like having like massive arguments with the video team that was at Future Publishing, where they would make a video about Nintendo. They were like, "Yeah, this is us," trying to cater for the Nintendo audience. And it's like so fucking, oh, finally Nintendo have got a game out. Like, that's not what Nintendo fans want. Like, Nintendo fans know they've got it fucking hard. Like, they don't want a fucking shunt in the eye every time a Donkey Kong game comes out. Like, you have to fucking really get behind it and champion it. And there's literally nowhere like that. Like, even places like,
No, you're right.
There's nowhere like that.
There isn't. I mean, O&M was.
I stopped myself very
you really
quickly,
did.
Yeah. Didn't I? But there's nowhere like that. It's really sad.
There was
It
a
is
beautiful
sad.
thing about O&M, which was, in my time there, it evolved from being quite a sort of like sedate, stately kind of, oh, this is what we've got, to being, shit, the Wii U's come out. No one's bought it.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate everything. And it became this amazing experience of writing every month about like interesting, weird stuff. Like I did a whole feature that was a documentary based on the lives of me's in Tomodachi life. Like weird stuff that you can't do on the internet most of the time. Like YouTube's sort of the successor to that magazine journalism, take an idea to its extent.
Yeah.
It was an amazing place to work. I'm really sad to see it go, because the final month we got to do, like Matthew Castle and I wrote, I got moved, I don't know. I don't give a shit. I got moved back onto O&M in the last month because they thought, it'd be good to have someone writing about
bury
it.
that shit.
Exactly, yeah. Then O&M's heel who left for OXM. We've done like a sort of multiplayer review of Smash Brothers, where it's like the two of us fighting to do it and stuff. And you don't get that anywhere else. It was just this beautiful little sort of magazine journalism. Like,
well, also it's the
fuck the rules.
It's the team element. Like you can actually the visual element of magazines means you can just break the rules and you can just create these one-off features, these one-off strange things.
You couldn't exist anywhere else.
Well, you can do that on YouTube, but it's very difficult. It's very time-intensive because video is so time-intensive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
To do
and
a
if it looks,
one-off-
yeah, the thing. If it looks shit, a lot of the time, if you're a magazine person, you've got 3 art people or 2 art people. You can go, hey, I've got this weird idea. If it's just you making a video, it's like, right, okay, I've got this weird idea. Now I have to learn how to do this animation. Now I have to learn how to do this animation.
You can't end up, and this is a difficult thing, you can't end up starting to like question the time value of being like, you have a one-off thing, and you're like, well, I have to get the other people on the video, and then I have to spend all this time doing it and make it look right. And if you're only going to use it once,
am I Freddie Wong?
It's difficult.
No? Okay, see you later. Like, it's that
difficult.
simple. Like, I think you were there, you were still there when we were doing the first Mario Kart 8 previews.
Yeah.
Literally, we did an entire feature based on 3 iPhone pictures of a gamepad with the tracks from Mario Kart 8. We took pictures of them, and the art guys sat there and hand drew those tracks. And it was just like, nowhere does this. It's just this insane amount of like love.
I think that's the saddest thing I'm finding about the demise of magazine culture is just, it seems like just all the money's going.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of money on YouTube, but it's in really boring places,
Yeah.
I think. And it's basically, it's not being used to make things dramatically really cool and interesting. It's just being made... It's just people making money mostly, and often they have like a lot of YouTubers and stuff have they have professional artists do cartoon versions themselves and stuff.
Yeah, no, that
sounds like I'm just having a dig at your. No, there are loads of YouTube channels that sort of thing. But I think
I'm having to dig at everyone.
I'm digging my elbows into every before. But it would be awesome to see the kind of magazine style.
It'd be incredible.
I tried to do it myself, but it ends up being like a real rod. If you're like.
Well, and like they cop a lot of shit and it didn't work out for them, but Polygon got close to doing that for a while.
Yeah.
They were doing these amazingly in-depth interactive features, and I was sitting there going, thank God, someone on the internet gives a shit. But it didn't make them enough money.
I think the stuff that is making money and stuff on YouTube, I think I watched something the other day and it was a video of someone who'd been paid by Ubisoft to go out to Gamescom. And I thought, I want to watch this because I know that he's been paid to go do it. And I want to see what he's done with the money sort of thing. It was literally like if you gave someone a handheld video camera in 2004 who worked in a magazine, what they would do at Gamescom. And it was literally like him
I know what that is, that's awful.
talking to every single Ubisoft person that he'd been put in front of. Can you tell me a bit about Far Cry 4, please? And it's literally it's unlistenable because you can't this guy's used to working in his bedroom.
Sure, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can't hear any of it. You can't, but still, it's just fucking 500,000 views or something like that.
It's difficult. The thing is, there are on the web. There's different metrics, and actually, there's not a lot of value placed on quality.
Yeah.
And it is a case of quantity. News is still the bread and butter.
Yeah.
Video can make money, but largely doesn't. So it's mostly just news. And the thing I find sad about the death of ONM is it feels like we're at a weird point where it's really difficult. Positivity. It felt like the last bastion of positivity.
Yeah,
massively.
And I really try and be positive, but it's difficult because sometimes you play games that are fucking shit and you have to give them a kicking. Or sometimes everybody raves about stuff that's bollocks. But it's the thing I find as well, though, is it's you know what? People I put up a video about Dark Souls 2 saying this is everything the game gets wrong, and people go, calling it that is very antagonistic and you're just looking for clicks and stuff. It's well, yeah. But the thing is, it's quite a good critique of the game. And by calling it that, the video gets 150,000, 200,000 views. The video I made of The Last of Us, which was called Everything The Last of Us Gets Right, and all the other videos I made called Gets Wrong have had multiple hundreds of thousands of views. Gets Right, that's probably one of the best videos I've ever made. I'm most proud of it. Hardly got any views.
Yeah.
And it's just it's sad in the fact that you kind of almost, you find yourself being well...
It's a negative culture sort of thing, yeah. It's mad.
Well, it's almost I kind of feel like I'm making this Destiny video at the moment, and I'm almost a lot of the things I'm talking about are actually things that Destiny does get wrong.
Yeah.
But it's do I bait people in with saying that?
Yeah.
And then talk about why it's good as well? Because you kind of feel
bollocks, isn't it? Yeah.
You kind of it doesn't change the content of what you're doing, but it seems sad to me that people complain about internet culture being negative towards games, and people complain about the negativity, but at the same time, it's what
That's what gets you
people
in.
want.
Yeah.
It's
But then
what
I guess,
people click on.
I guess you're in an interesting position though, I think, that not many people find themselves in, where it doesn't matter what if you
No,
get
it doesn't.
or something like that.
Doesn't.
Like you're not beholden to any kind of advertiser or stuff like that.
But
which
unfortunately,
obviously ONM were,
as I've discovered through doing this,
Yeah.
I went into this stuff being like, it doesn't matter how many views I get, but actually,
Yeah.
like, it does, because unfortunately, I'm a fucking weak animal human, and unfortunately, seeing things being successful makes me happy.
Yeah, I guess so.
So it's not actually, it doesn't matter. I've got more views.
Yeah.
But when I do a video, it gets lots of views. That's what makes me feel good.
Yeah, I don't know though, because like,
I wish it didn't.
yeah.
But it's like I don't seem to be able to control that. It's just part of my wiring.
On this,
That's the thing, like the stuff that I always work on and stuff like that. Like I've always worked for companies where no matter who watches my video, I get paid a salary at the end of the month. I'm so lucky to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Then I literally think like,
That's not enough for me somehow. I want to be able to continue to do it, but it doesn't.
Look at that, I'd rather like if I think me and Joe and Matthew Castle did a series called Expert Super Guy, which was watched by I reckon the same 2,500 people.
Yeah.
Every single week.
apart from
was
that
great.
one Call of
Like-
Duty episode
Yeah.
where we got lots of comments going, you're not very good at this.
But it was literally watched by the same people, and like I remember like having a massive not argument, but I had a lot of arguments with Matthew Castle. Like, and if you don't know who he is, you should definitely like. A lot of people say to me, "Oh, I don't know who this Castle guy is." Yeah, because he's really, really busy making magazines or running magazines to the ground, wherever you think. But like, I remember having a conversation with him, and he was just like, "We made this awesome video, and we put it up, and I think it got like 7,000 views or something." And he was just like, he was literally just like, oh, "I can't believe that." Like, I can't believe there's only 7,000 people. I was like, why do you care? Like, why do you care that it's only been watched by 7,000 people? 7,000 people is a lot of people. I don't know
Yeah.
7,000 people. Like, we're still getting paid at the end of this, no matter what.
No,
Like,
I mean I don't care that much, but I think it's addictive. I think that's the problem. Is now I know I can get lots of views. When I don't,
You're like,
my
what's
brain
wrong with
isn't
this video?
happy.
Yeah.
It's a serotonin thing.
But then you don't want, but you don't want to get to a point where you're like, you know, as you said, you don't want. You're making a video which like is championing.
No, and I
this
don't.
and stuff. Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing is
You don't want
I
to get to a
still-
point where you're just like, because that is a lot of what YouTube is. A lot of people
Yeah, of
like.
course, of course.
That's why, like, you know, fucking every other thumbnail, every other new channel is like angry gamer, like pissed off gamer.
It doesn't affect what I do. It doesn't affect what I do.
Exactly,
It's one of those
yeah.
things where it's like often it's the weird thing I find is the things I bash out just because I think it'll be fun
Yeah.
are often the things that do really well. I made the video about Destiny's plot, and that's done particularly
exactly,
well.
yeah.
And that was just something I bashed out because I thought, it was like I'm going to take the piss out of Destiny.
We talked about it in the pub, but like I think like there's other people you could probably get on this podcast that would be very like a lot more willing to talk about it. But let's get some more on the podcast. But like if you ever had to like learn the
This is like a thriller film where it's like I just get Timur's name on a piece of paper.
It's Gene Hackman in All the President's Men. Like, that dude knows what's going on.
But like, yeah, also he's left the industry now, so I think he'll say whatever the fuck he wants because he works with TFL.
We talk actually about. I said I would talk about it briefly. So it's fine. I haven't got a problem. I can stop whenever I want. I've got a big problem.
Destiny.
I'm so addicted to Destiny. I mean, the thing is now I've seen. I kind of feel good in the fact that I've seen what it was from quite an early age, and I'm like, this is fucking fruit machine fun bullshit. But I knew that, and I kind of laugh at the idiots who are sitting on Reddit going, I feel that Bungie have really disappointed me with this. And it's like, they've played it for like hundreds of hours and only just realised what it is. And then being like, I'm so angry. And it's like, you're an idiot. Like, it's like
You're saying if you realised what it was early on, then you'd be like, oh, this is fun.
it's like you just watch 6 snuff films and then you can like, I can't believe
They're all dead.
this is horrible.
It's gotta be stopped.
It's like, guys, it's quite obvious what it is.
Yeah.
You should have worked that out earlier. It's your own fault for wasting it. If you feel like you've wasted your life, that's your fault. Like,
I think,
because
like-
you've got that far.
I wanted to ask you this actually because this week I think I'm going to buy a PS4.
Yes.
If I started playing Destiny now, am I fucked? Can I not start playing?
I mean,
You can. It's a weird one. I was really worried about the same thing because I bought a PS4 late and I started playing it. I was lucky enough to have, Timur at the same level as I was, so we played through together. If you approach it as sort of a solo game for the first 10 levels or so,
Okay.
you're kind of fine. Like, it's not...
I probably would have played it anyway, I think.
I play it on my own a lot, and actually, like the thing is, it's got this sort of daily thing where you can pop in, play it for an hour, And I've just basically been logging in, playing it for about an hour every day, doing some things, getting some stuff, and then logging out. But what I love about it is it's just like, it's really chill. It's like, it's a lot of people complained. And the thing is, I am making a big video about it. It's going to be fucking ridiculous. But it's something you can log into and just shoot shit in the head. And some people in the reviews are like, oh, the AI is terrible. I don't give a fuck. I like shooting things in the head.
I like being good at shooting things in the head as well. Like,
The AI, I know this is
AI
one of those
bollocks.
weird things. But it's not as bad as people made it out to be.
No, it's not.
Like, it does still react in a way that is satisfying to play with. Like, it's playing... You know, like those old... Well, maybe this speaks more to me. You know those old shitty, like... I don't know, like Mac shareware chess games, and they had like 9 different levels of difficulty. And you were only actually playing chess if you were on like the 9th level.
Yeah.
This is like level 3. It's like, I can predict everything you're going to do, but I'm still having a satisfying game playing
You
around.
get curveballs as well. You get occasionally, like, you get out of your depth, you get killed, you get in trouble and all that stuff. But what I like most about it is the fact that loads of people are playing it, right? Which means I log on, I can play it on my own, I can chill out, I can just zoom around on a hover bike, shooting shit in the head, and it's just, I can play it with a fucking hangover.
Yeah.
And there are still valuable things I can do with a hangover. The problem with most games is you get to a point where it's like, oh, you're high level now, the only thing you can do
It's high
is
level
intense
shit. Yeah.
And it's like, I can still log on with a massive hangover and do something valuable on a Saturday morning. That's cool. And secondly, it's like, I just log on. I was playing it with Rich McCormick, who's a good friend of mine, used to work for PC Gamer, and now he lives in Japan. The fact that it's like the netcode works well enough that I can just sit and... We weren't even like concentrating on the game. You're just literally popping heads, chatting about stuff.
Yeah.
It's a really nice, casual, social experience. But this is what I was going to talk about. I won't spoil any of it, but I'd like to talk briefly about the Vault of Glass, because the thing is, lots of people complain about Destiny and the fact that it doesn't know what like people are like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
It's a really nice framework. The shooting is really nice. It's got, but then it's like got this kind of a bit turgid endgame where you get towards like level 25 plus, and then it's quite a slow progression, and it's very evident that it's like, you've got to wait till December, and then we're gonna do some more stuff, and we're playing the long game, which kind of is a bit of a, they're
playing a very long game as well.
Yeah.
They're just like, it's going to be there forever.
But the thing is, honestly, and this is a weird thing because it's like, it's not really an excuse, because I do think that the package of what you get is a bit thin.
Yeah.
For 40 quid especially. But
Not in like 2 years' time, you're not going to ever.
It's gone mid next year. There's no way that's hanging around for 2 years.
Yeah.
No, I don't know, man. I reckon it will.
Really?
I
With
really
DLC
think it
that
will.
whole time?
I think with expansions, I mean, the thing is, like...
But you get all those as part of it, right?
No.
That's
This is the
all
problem.
paid.
This is the problem. It's like, if it was free initially and then with paid stuff, or if it was... I don't know, I'm a bit concerned
Makes
with
sense.
the
Like,
monetization.
it's definitely gonna mean that.
That's the thing, is I kind of feel like it should have been. For the game, the kind of game they want to make. But the thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up doing a World of Warcraft, so in about a year's time they just say, hey, the base game's free. You can just play it. And I think they will do it. And I think it has got legs, because I don't know what Bungie are planning, but like, people have talked about the fact that the spaceships you've got, like, they might even end up making it so you can fly spaceships and stuff.
I can't remember if this is my imagination, but I'm sure they've talked about flying spaceships before. I'm sure that was a thing.
It's a thing that they could do, because honestly, the base game they've got, the shooting feels lovely. They've got a framework, but I guess my biggest concern playing the game is like, you know what? I'm having tons of fun with this. I'm addicted. I don't care, because for me right now, obviously I'm having a weird life situation anyway, and having something mindless I can fixate on, and also something which means I can just sit and chat mindless shit with friends is perfect. It's like a reminder.
Warcraft,
It's a reminder of what video games should be
And
like.
it's pure progression as well. There's always a feeling that you're working towards something at all times.
And it's better than Warcraft. Better than World of Warcraft in the fact that World of Warcraft, you trick yourself into thinking you're having fun with the combat when actually you're just pressing buttons. Whereas this,
You're actually
the
doing it,
gunplay feels nice enough that honestly, I've worked out I'm about to unlock a like little trophy thing in the game for getting 20,000 kills. 20,000 kills.
Yeah.
I've been using the same pistol for about a week. I just walk around shooting one gun at people in the head, and I'm having a fucking brilliant time. But the Vault of Glass is the raid, which you can't even do until you're about level 27, level 28, really. We had an attempt at it last week. We got 6 people together, and honestly, just the process of doing that was so exciting, having email chains being like, we're going to meet at 5, we're going to do this. And then having this incredible challenge, it makes me so excited for the future of the game, because I'm playing it and I'm like, this is an incredible backbone. What are they going to do with it? And this isn't maybe what they're just going to do with it, but holy fuck, it is cool. It's annoying that you have to play the game for about 15 hours to even have a chance, at least, to even have a chance of trying it.
I don't think it's annoying. I think you almost want to.
Well, no, but the problem is
they need to elongate
it's
like
the best,
everything.
but no, but the problem is it's the best thing in the game, and it's so unlike the rest of the game that it's kind of like the thing you want to show people. As to be like, when people are like, why should I play Destiny? And it's like you just want to go because this.
It feels like game designers finally getting their own back. It feels like Bungie going, we had to spend so long making like this boring Space Marine doing like really interesting things straight up, and going, you know what? You have to give a shit about our game to get what you want out of it. Yeah. And it's kind of lovely. It's kind of like put your time in and you get what you deserve.
Well, also it's like there are reasons why you need the time, because when you go in there, there's like you have to understand some of the mechanics, like that there's like coloured shields for types of damage. It's actually a very simple system.
Yeah.
It's not like any rock, paper, scissors weird shit. It's, the colour of the shield is the colour of the weapon you need. Also, you have to have an understanding of how the enemies react, because there are like certain elements throughout it where like you start to notice that maybe some of the enemies are behaving in a different way to how they usually do, and that's part of what you need to do to work out the puzzle of how to deal with that situation. But the thing is, I've seen lots of places talk about, actually, I still think that Kotaku's review by Kirk Carmenton is probably the best review of the game I've seen out there. But he said about how it's like a puzzle thing, and it is. But what I maybe didn't get, maybe I misread it, but like what I maybe didn't get completely is the fact that it's like, it's a puzzle, but it's a puzzle. The puzzles aren't just like shoot some stuff and then work out a puzzle.
Yeah.
The puzzles are intrinsically a part of the combat.
Yeah.
And the combat situations you get thrown into are impossible. It literally throws you into things that wipe you the fuck out. And you go from being like, I'm shooting everything in the head, I'm a hero, everything's right, to being like, we're going to dick on you again and again and again. But then it just creates new things. So it's like, you have this encounter and they're like, this enemy's acting weirdly. What's this for? There's this bit over here. What are we supposed to do? And you don't have a fucking clue.
Yeah.
And even what's wonderful about it is even when you're on the right track, even when like you're actually like starting to do things right, it doesn't pat you on the back and say, give you any idea that you're doing it right. You don't really know that you're on the right track until you're really close to doing it. And then you go, we're right. This is how we're supposed to be doing it. But these puzzles are so intricate and so multi-layered and involving different things that we played it with 6 of us, and it was just having these eureka moments of somebody going, guys, I think this does this.
Yeah.
And then you wipe and you start again and you test it. You go, and then you go, no, I was wrong. But like, you have theories, you test stuff, you try things, and then you regroup. And then as you gradually, like, there was one bit in particular where every time we realized something, every time we learned something about the situation, the next attempt was much more successful.
Yeah, of course.
But it wasn't until we learned everything.
Yeah.
And actually, we were really proud of the fact that we played through the whole thing, all of us fresh. None of us had read up on it at all. And if you have the opportunity to do that, I'd totally recommend it, because it was one of the best gaming experiences I've had in years. But in the final encounter, we didn't manage to do it because we just were a bit under-leveled.
Yeah.
But we then, looking online about the guides, we worked out that our technique that we devised for how to solve this puzzle
was bang on.
Was better than bang on. It was like, it was actually like we developed a technique which was fucking good. It was actually like all the guides hadn't really gone into that much detail.
Yeah.
But it has some really, really clever. It's so good. Honestly, the only way I can describe it is it kind of has that Dark Souls element of being like trial and error, but in an interesting way, of you being like, what am I doing wrong? What is this? And it uses concepts which are kind of like, obviously a bit alien, a bit sci-fi, but concepts that you're familiar with. Like, the things that once you work it out, it makes sense. It wasn't just bollocks. It's like, oh, of course, this works this way with this interacts with this. Yeah. But also it feels like, when you go on corporate away days or whatever, and you get those team building exercises where you have 6 people and you have to work out an impossible puzzle.
Yeah.
It was like the best one of those I've ever done in my life.
You feel like the smartest person in the world. Yeah.
And it was really nice in the fact that we had moments where it was like, it wasn't just one person being like, oh, we'll do this. Different people chipped up, different people at certain points were like, all right, well, you're in charge of this. And you have jobs. And there was one bit where at the end, we realised we needed to split off into 3 teams. And 2 of the teams were just one person. It was me and Chris Thurston.
Yeah.
And we both had to go and do something, and we both had to do it synchronised. And we're just running off doing this fucking synchronised task. And there's a point where I'm like trying to get back out, having done this thing, and I need to get back out.
Yeah.
And I'm like on the verge of death, and it's like my heart's just pounding the fuck, because it's like I've got a job to do, and if I don't do this job perfectly,
fuck it up forever.
Everyone is dead. Everyone's dead. But the wonderful thing about this is it's not the game saying this is your job. Yeah. It's like I'm executing our plan.
It's
Yeah.
like where
we invented this plan.
It's like where GTA 5's heists went wrong online.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
they never introduced that sense of like everyone has a job. Let's
Yeah.
go and do it.
But we've created these really elaborate plans where like you do this. Then at this point in the second stage, we'll move. You do this. And everyone
Yeah.
had like plans with multi-tiered roles and everyone's
Did
shifting.
you capture all this? Yeah.
Some of it, not with audio, but
Yeah.
I captured bits of it to put in the video. I don't want to spoil any of it, so I'll probably use it very
Yeah.
sparingly.
It's quite interesting to watch though. Like,
It's fascinating, but it's like the fact that it's like you get so excited, but then sometimes we had these plans and we worked really hard to do it, and then it was just like you get to a point where after like half an hour of trying to do something, you all have to just go. You have to sit and have a conversation and go. Do we keep trying this?
Yeah.
Or do we just accept that maybe this isn't it and try something different? And you have that classic like business conversations like of people being like one person thinks it's this, the other
Yeah.
person thinks this. It's like, what are you going to do? Which one are you going to try?
I like the way that
opposing theories.
building people and like making people sit down and have a conversation about it. It's almost like board gaming, isn't it? Like,
Yes.
you're like, right, we all have to do this one thing. Especially when you like when you're doing like games where you all have one sort of task to do. It really feels like
That's the genius of it, actually, is the fact that it's not, as with most cooperative shooters, it's not a case of you communicating that much when you're doing it.
Yeah.
It's not like you going, they're coming from the east, they're coming from the north.
Yeah.
Well, I need everyone to come back and
that
defend
doesn't
this.
interest me at all.
That
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
is too intense. Well, the way it works is you try it, you all die, and then before you start it again,
Yeah.
you sit, you wait,
What did
you
we
talk
learn?
tactics, and
Yeah,
you go, what
yeah.
should we do this time?
What was bollocks?
And it's like you pre-plan, because once the thing that always fucks us over is we kept dying whenever we got to a new bit. Like, well, one bit it was a boss fight with 3 stages, and whenever we unlocked a new stage, we all died because it's
Yeah.
like you're so stressed trying to stay alive that you can't plan.
Yeah.
But the satisfaction of winning, and then everyone gets magical treasure because you did a good job.
Yeah.
Holy fuck! And I mean, I'm so excited because the next 2 expansions, the one in December and then one in the New Year, both had new raids. And
Yeah.
I can't wait to just sit down with people and not have a fucking clue.
Yeah.
Because honestly,
That's the most fun thing about it. I think
it's
to, like,
it's worth it. Like, it's one of those things where it's like I already put all this time into Destiny, and I enjoy it. I'm not going to try and justify it to myself
Yeah.
any further than that because I enjoy the addiction.
Yeah, why
Fuck
should
it.
you either?
But at the same time, it totally made me feel like, yeah, this isn't bollocks.
Yeah. Okay.
In the way that I think with World of Warcraft raids,
bollocks.
I mean, how do people? I was thinking about that. How did people work out how to do some of that stuff back in the
Yeah.
day for the first time? Because what I liked about the Vault of Glass was we sat down without any internet, and with 6 of us, we worked it out in about 6 hours.
Yeah.
And it was an incredible experience. But some of that stuff in World of Warcraft, like, no,
Yeah, you never do
that
yeah.
took like people talking on the internet and working weird shit out.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, I blabbed on for a long time on that.
I was just going to say, like, it reminds me again of, like, it feels like Bungie learning lessons. Do you remember, like, old Halo games? I can't remember which one it was. There was someone found a grunt that would never attack you, and people became obsessed with this one pacifist grunt and the idea that it was going to lead you somewhere, or the idea that it was going to take you to a new section of combat that wasn't in the main game, or it was going to show you a skull. Like, this idea that there was a puzzle to be worked out because one thing didn't make sense.
Yeah.
It feels like they've taken that idea and gone, yeah, that's
Yeah,
the game. Like, let's work with that.
It is. I mean, it's yeah, it really is.
It's kind of amazing.
It just completely. It's like it requires you to have an intimate understanding of the core game, and then just hurls you through this gauntlet of oddities.
It's not game design, it's people design. It's going like, here's all your rules, we're going to fuck one up.
Yeah.
How are you going to react?
But then you have
that's
like there are so many
wonderful.
red herrings and stuff. You're like, these enemies are acting really weirdly. Like, what are they doing? Like, and then being like, is that a thing or is that not? Like,
Yeah.
you end up being like, does this do anything or not? Like, and you just gradually learn the rules. It's so good. And I honestly think it's one of those things where at the moment I'd say to people like, if you're on the fence with Destiny, like I wouldn't necessarily rush out and get it, but I kind of feel like because it's got that MMO thing of right now it's quite difficult to get to the level that you can play that.
Yeah.
But I know that in about 3 or 4 months' time, because of the nature of these
They're
things,
gonna accelerate
it
that.
will the acceleration period will be
Yeah.
upped, and it will be a lot easier to get to that level. So I kind of feel like if that piques your interest, like just get into it now if you want to and get some friends into it, but otherwise just maybe just hold off and don't read anything about it. Like
Yeah.
just keep it fresh because it's just it was the most interesting and rewarding shooter experience I've had in years. And it's funny how, because so many of the reviews, because they wanted to get them out quickly, like came out even before the Vault of Glass was open. And lots of it so easily subverts the biggest complaint about Destiny of being like, it doesn't do anything new, it's bland, and it's like, it does. It's just, unfortunately, you have to play it for a while before you see that.
Yeah.
And then you get something genuinely.
Isn't it?
Oh, no, of course, I wouldn't, that's things, I don't want to seem like I'm being a dick about that, because I appreciate people have to do their job. You know, like, you've got to recommend something. But it's difficult. Anyway, let's do some questions. Okay, questions. So first of all, we got a question from Dave M. Nicholas, who says, "You podcast, but what podcasts do you listen to?"
Joe, what's your favourite podcast? Maybe involving 4 people that you know. 2 of whom might be here right now.
I'm going to go with BitSocket, but twice.
I don't listen to any other games podcasts anymore. No, I've stopped. I just think like I don't know.
What's the point?
They just
No.
I'm the best now. I don't know. I listen to a lot of non-game stuff, and I think people really, really should, because then you realise how fucking terrible games podcasts are.
Oh Jesus Christ!
On the most part. But I listen to.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's not a bad way to like try and become better at what you do. I mean, professionally, you should. Yeah, I mean, I listen to a bit of This American Life. I find the pacing is a bit repetitive after a while, because it is the same pacing every time.
Have you heard their new one? Serial?
No, I haven't.
It's good, man.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of that. I listen to This American Life when I'm running a lot, because I need something that takes my mind away from. The reason I like the way that that's edited, because it takes my mind away from actually having to fucking run. So I need like I need an hour long something. That's why I used to watch like absolute bollocks TV shows, like the one about the bikes, Sons of Anarchy, in the gym, because it was just like
that is absolute bollocks.
Every episode is absolute bollocks.
I mean, I kind of like it, but
it's the same bollocks.
Shit.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing with This American Life. Like, it's almost like, even though you're constantly like taken away to a different place, and you're like, shit, I didn't even know this fucking world existed. Like, these Jewish elementary schools, like obviously Jewish people have to go to school.
I've been trying to listen to it while swimming, because I've got some underwater headphones.
Yeah, it just takes your mind away from it.
But the problem I find is it's like it's a bit too like there's something about delivery. It's a bit sleepy. It's not very good for exercise.
Well, it depends on the episode, because sometimes you get this like one because they do those 4-act ones or 5-act ones. You get one really intense person in the middle, and it just wakes you up. Shit, something crazy's going down, and then it's always one of the fictional stories that they're doing. You're like, fuck off. Like, I hate it when they make up a fictional one from American Life. It's not good enough.
I listen to 99% Invisible as well, which is like it's very, very similar to This American Life, but it's about like architecture. I'm going to check what this other one is in a minute. I only recently started listening to it.
I've got to say, I don't really listen to podcasts. Which is shameful, because I record 3.
I listen to tons.
I don't have much time, and when I've got my headphones on, I've really.
You don't have a commute. That's massive.
I don't have a commute. That's one thing, and also like music is very important to me. And the thing I miss most about being a writer is I used to be able to listen to music, not with lyrics in, but I used to be able to listen to instrumental music while I was writing.
Yeah.
When you video edit, you can't.
Yeah, I listen to music while I write, and while I'm traveling, I listen to podcasts. Like, that's the only way I can do it.
Yeah.
I can't walk to music, because I do that thing where my feet go in step to the music.
That's it. I walk around like the amount
it.
of times people have like tweeted me saying I spotted you in public, and like people always say something along the lines of "you look like a man on a mission." And it's because I listen to like fucking intense music, and I'm just storming around.
It's the soundtrack to Koanakwatsi all the time. Oh no, we're just walking, just like absolute death. I
walk around to stuff like these New Puritans or something. It's just like fucking It's just like it's just insane madman shit. My favorite
podcast at the moment is one I just had to check it out, but Kristen Donlan told me you have to listen to it, and it's called Planet Money, which is another of the NPR ones.
Yeah.
And I listened to one the other day, and it's honestly one of the best things. They call that the Eddie Murphy effect or something like that. The episode is, and it's all about like trading places and how realistic is trading places. It is fucking incredible. Like, I literally there's so much amazing stuff about it, and like if you're going in at entry level anything, go in for that.
Hasn't
because it's brilliant.
Editor of that just left to start his own business?
That's right. Yeah.
Because that was a really interesting
episode as well. Yeah. Because like the guy who used to run Planet Money has gone to try and start his own business, and he did This American Life episode about like pitching the guy who fucking bankrolled Twitter and stuff like that about it, like, and he absolutely failed miserably.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But that podcast is really, really good as well. But those, I don't listen to any games podcasts, basically.
No, I don't particularly either.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I don't know. I find that there are exceptions, of course, but a lot of the people whose opinions on games I really am interested in, I get to talk to either in real life or on a podcast. So, yeah.
There's a very interesting thing with, I don't know if either of you read Cracked.
Yeah.
Most people read Cracked, as it turns out. Cracked do a podcast where essentially they base a podcast in discussion around one of their articles that's been successful.
That's good.
That's a really interesting way of doing a games podcast, I think. Yeah.
Well, so it's not so that would be interesting as well as a games idea. The way they do it is essentially, because I find Cracked articles are funny, but often I don't come out feeling like I've actually learned that much because of the list feature style. You come out going, oh, it feels like they've had to fit within their own structures.
Yeah.
Whereas this is usually three guys talking really interestingly around a subject and all the facts they learned to write those articles.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the things I actually miss about being a video gamer or a part of a team. Was like one of the things we did used to do was we would have reactive podcasts.
Yeah.
We would have a podcast specifically just about a new release that we all played, or just something that had happened. You could basically, because you got a room of people, you can be like, let's record an hour-long chat just about this.
Yeah.
And it's something we started doing, and it's quite successful, but it's obviously difficult to do when you're on your own because it would just be me talking to myself. And I do that enough anyway.
Yeah.
Next question. Ed Stern asks, what Capcom versus Marvel style publisher/IP crossover would you like to see? Like Gordon Freeman in GTA, Lara Croft in FIFA.
Couldn't give less of a shit.
Platinum and anyone else. I'm done. After Metal Gear Rising, which isn't the best game, but is a fucking amazing game for having the shittest Metal Gear character ever in a competent action game. They can take on whatever I like.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's not a part of me that's like, ooh, I'd like to see that. And I
kind of feel like a couple of years ago I would have been excited by this, but it's almost become a bit oversaturated now. Like, I remember the first time you had crossovers, it was like, what the fuck? Sonic the Hedgehog's in another game? Like, it was like, at the time, it was really exciting, this idea of like publishers working together. But then you start doing it loads.
I liked, like as a fighting game fan, I liked Street Fighter X Tekken. I thought that was really, really good.
Tekken X Street Fighter so much.
I don't think that game ever existed or was ever going to exist. But
I want Assassin's Creed with orcs.
Yeah.
Or the orcs with the Batman.
Orcs with the Batman, I think, is what we
Batman
mean,
going around beating the shit out of orcs.
That's the thing, like Warner Brothers own orcs.
Why am I here?
They do whatever they
What
want.
is this place? Where's the scarecrow? Who is Orlando Bloom?
He just beats Talion to death. It's just like, you're too boring. Get on with it.
I love that idea that like the whole time is Batman trying to work out where the serum is because he thinks he's been drugged by the scarecrow. And actually, do some weird shit. He has actually
you're
genuinely.
just in fucking Mordor, dude.
He is genuinely in Mordor.
I tell you, like, the best crossovers are the ones that don't take themselves in any way seriously. Like, did you ever play Project Cross Zone on the 3DS? Which was a strategy RPG. But actually the worst strategy RPG I've ever played. It had no tactics to it at all. All it was I think it was Namco, Sega, Capcom, fucking Tecmo Koei, and someone else all put their characters into one game. And I think Monolith Soft made it. And it was the shittest strategy RPG, as I've said. But beyond that, you had things like Jin Kazama from Tekken teaming up with some guy from Virtua Fighter, or like guys from Resident Evil teaming up with fucking what's his name from Dead Rising, and like just shitty character combinations being forced to talk to each other for extended periods, and just being like. And literally all the dialogue was, what are we doing here? Why is this happening? Just constantly going,
why?
Yeah, it just might as well have been going, what? Why is this the point? And it was fucking entertaining. Like, just an incredible little piece of video game culture that no one else could do, because it was just these Japanese companies going...
And will inevitably be forgotten.
Yeah, exactly. It was great.
Just odd shit.
Yeah.
Joshua, the problem is people start doing Halloween Twitter names now.
Why do people do that?
I don't know. I mean, it's frustrating because it means there's like a month of the year where you can't work out who people are, or you have to work.
I don't care.
No, this is Joshua Yearsley, who asks.
That's a good enough name, dude.
I know. It's not too bad. He's written Joshua Yarsley, which isn't too bad.
I'm Christmas Joe Scrabbles at the moment.
You're still doing still rocking the Christmas one.
I'm just going with Christmas.
Is
Just
that
leave that forever
specifically-
now.
Yeah, I might as well.
I think I kept
works.
Christmas for a couple of months, but This is a good question, though. It's not related, but it's a kind of a Halloween-y question, because we are getting on to that point of the year. What's the best Halloween costume you've ever done?
I've ever done. I was in my first year of sixth form, and I did the Karate Kid shower. So me and my dad built a shower, and I wore a shower the entire night. That was pretty cool. So it was like, we had this like backpack of thing coming up, and there's like a big shower curtain all around me with a shower that had like fake water coming down.
You know when you hear about American kids in like boxcar derby, and like their dads make them the thing.
Yeah.
I've always thought...
Well, my dad was a welder / builder, so it's just like, he loved that shit.
It's always been like an unattainable thing to me. I'm like, that's never happened in real life. But it turns out your dad built you a wearable shower. Yeah. That's beautiful.
That was the best one I've ever done, I think. It took a lot of effort on my dad's part, and a lot of me standing there going, which is which is a skill you need as an adult if you buy a car and you have to take it to a garage. Standing around while someone else does something you have no idea what they're going, you're doing.
It's great what you're doing there. What about you, Joe? What's your favourite?
I turned up to your live podcast once dressed as the concept of murder, which I was quite happy with. I just sewed the word murders to a jumper.
You won a prize for that.
You gave me Metal Gear Solid.
That was great. I remember that, yeah.
And I had a sort of ski cap with M on it. Like I was Murder, but a superhero was Murder.
I think my favourite I did was I once went to a party which was themed American Nightmares. And this was about 6 years ago.
Oh, I've seen this.
And I went as the Recession, which was
Very
basically
good.
just wearing completely white, and drew a grid onto myself, and I had a downward like red line.
You're so edgy, man.
It was fun. It was fun because then people throughout the night were trying to encourage me to fix the Recession by lifting my leg up really high in the air, and I did that. And I banged my head on a piano and almost got concussion.
Wrecked the pie for everyone.
But also at one point in video games, actually, it's worth a mention, I did actually rip off. You know, in Devil May Cry 3, there was a character who was like a devil skinhead dude who had like one eye that was red and one eye that was blue, and had this sort of demonic growth coming out of one half of his face.
I don't think anyone remembers Devil May Cry 3, do they?
I thought it was great. It was a great game. But it's too fucking hard, but it was great. But yeah, I basically ripped off that and combined it with Edward Scissorhands and just went to like a nightclub night at uni dressed like this fucking bizarre, crazy haired witch. And
what did you use for the growth?
I spent a long time painstakingly painting it onto my face. It looked really cool. Unfortunately, the only photo I took of it was blurred because it was a shit camera phone. But I was extremely successful with the ladies that night as well. So I don't. Apparently, looking terrifying is hot at Halloween. So bear that in mind, girls and boys. Daniel Vasey, that's an easy name. Will any of you be importing a new 3DS? I've been weighing it up.
I was thinking about it because I think it'll actually be as expensive, if not cheaper, to get it from Australia. Like,
say what though? Thinking about doing that suddenly made me really sad and thinking about Lixang. Well, not Lix. Was it Lixang? No, I'm using the name of somebody on Twitter. Sorry, that's what was it called?
Lapsang Souchon.
Play Asia?
No, what was it called?
Don't know
what was Lixang?
What are you talking
There was the old Japanese website that used to be able to import.
Oh, it used to be advertised in the back of magazines, didn't it? I can't remember what it's called.
It may be that. Maybe I got it right. But it was basically, it was an old Japanese import, and you could buy like consoles, and it got shut down because Sony fucked them.
Yeah.
Because they were importing PSPs. Sony basically sued them, and they just like had to close.
Yeah.
But it used to be amazing because you'd be like, oh, cool, I can get the Game Boy Color early from Japan. And it would work in the UK. But then also you started like seeing all of the amazing weird shit that they sold in Japan for games.
Buy that as well, yeah.
Buy that as well. Like, they had like loads of like amazing like covers and fascias and like little boxes to hold your games. They just got all these awesome peripherals. When we at that point were in the dark ages of electronics boutique, where it's like, do you want to buy a leather style case?
Here's a turbo button on your third party controller.
Yeah, whereas like in Japan it was like this wealth of cool shit.
Yeah.
And finally, I guess Kate Gray asks, if you could graft an animal tail onto your body, which animal tail would you use?
That's interesting.
Such a genuine response.
Are we talking just where a tail should be?
I guess so. I mean, where do you want it?
I don't know. I'm just thinking like
tail on the end of your on the end of your hand. You can just
it'd be a proper.
Yeah, but that would make your hand useless.
Not if it was sort of, not if it like folded back into your arm.
Well, like Wolverine claws.
Exactly. Something like that.
Then you'd get like the Tanuki like tail from Mario Brothers 3 and just fly everywhere and
float about.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I mean, I don't know if that would work because that's technically not a real thing.
I might go for like a lemur's prehensile tail right on the
cool.
apex of my head.
Yeah.
So I could just hang from light fittings. Or, just forever.
You'd be like a terrifying Teletubby.
Yeah, I'd take that. Like a really stripy
Well,
Teletubby.
unfortunately, these amazing images have left me completely unable to have an answer.
Yeah.
But we'll wrap it up. What I will say is, if you do enjoy the podcast and you enjoyed this podcast in particular, we are doing a live Daft Souls show on the 2nd of November in Nottingham. Why
Remember the 2nd of November.
It's in Nottingham, which is
We're going to be drinking a lot.
obviously in England. We will be drinking, no doubt. It'll be in the day. It starts at about, I think, in the afternoon. If you look on Twitter, etc., I will be posting about it on the Daft Souls account. And also, it's on Eventbrite if you just search for Daft Souls. I think it's like £4 a ticket. And basically, if you do fancy it, come along. It is in Nottingham. It will be in Log's Pub. Log, who's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
It should be fun. But obviously, I have had a few people who are going, oh, I really want to come, but it's going to cost me like £80 to get there. It's like, probably...
We will pay your train tickets.
No.
Like,
Matt will pay
invoice
your
them
train
back.
tickets.
That wasn't what I was going to say.
Yeah, it is.
That Patreon's doing really well, guys.
Go on megabus.com/Matt Lees and you get free Megabus tickets from London.
Actually, what I was going to
to
say,
Nottingham.
What
I just said, do that.
What I was going to say is, if you're like, then don't worry. I'm sure it won't be a one-off opportunity. We will be doing some more live shows, hopefully in London in the new year. I'd like to do a live show, maybe in a bigger venue with somewhere a bit easier to access. So if you're like, I'd like to, but it's going to cost
Wembley Arena.
Don't lose your mind.
Log's going to be fuming about this.
It's fine. It's fine.
Literally taking 3 hours.
But if you honestly, if you can make it, if it's not too far, if you can maybe like get some mates involved, get a car share, come along.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Definitely come because it'll be the only Daft Souls live podcast ever. That's what you just said. Ever. Never be doing another live.
That's close enough.
Ever
but it will be us three. It will be me, Gav, and Joe. But it'll be slightly different because it'll be live, but whatever.
We'll come up with something to do.
Yeah, we'll come up with something to do. It'll be fun though.
Daft Souls Sunday lunch.
We're going to beat a cat to death.
Live.
Yeah.
No, I'd like to say that for Wembley. Actually, I just think we'll get more, exposure, coverage in the paper.
Look good on those big video
Like
screens.
man beats cat to death live Wembley Arena. I just think that's going to be my ticket to the big time.
Arena or stadium? Because that's
Arena.
We're going arena.
We can't do stadium.
Going old
Come
school.
on.
Like, we're humble enough to.
Yeah, we can't. We're not going to fill a stadium yet, Joe.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
Anyway,
Good.
thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.